Hello, chat. Thank you for tuning in to Magic Fish Radio, which is a video stream, and that's just how it's gonna be. Tonight's game is a continuation of Exit to Eden, which is a World of Darkness in Space campaign, so all the new World of Darkness or Chronicles of Darkness splats you love and or despise, smushed together in a space opera, cyberpunk, ridiculous bunch of melodrama. Although it's maybe somewhat more comedy. I'm a big Red Dwarf fan, so this does not bug me. It is 6,000 years in the future of the modern night setting. Humanity has spread out amongst the stars to the point where they lost track of Earth, but the World of Darkness still went with them. And somewhere in the middle of all those centuries, the veil fell, so the Supernats, for the most part, are known to humanity. And humanity has a lot of opinions about that vary from system to system. Our protagonists live in Eden system, which is one of the Expanse worlds, a world that was colonized about 2,000 years ago, and is possibly one of the last places in the Expanse systems where you can still be a supernatural outwardly and not get your ass kicked. Well, at least not get your ass kicked by human hate groups. There are plenty of other ways to get your ass kicked when you're supernatural, which is how these societies do their best to maintain order. I say looking at the Nova Court and the Ventrue. Yes. And the Ventrue, you know, this wouldn't be so hard if you just do what I told you! We're the Invictus, we know best. Shush, Moros, shush. Okay, so, a little bit of GM upkeep. Unfortunately, Trixie can no longer game with us for the time being. So, and you know, nothing. There's an apocalypse going on. There's a lot going on. People have a lot to deal with, and these things happen. So maybe she'll be back later. For now on, the character of Pricely will just be an NPC, and we will see where that goes. Meanwhile, Puka, who's that way, if looking at my because I'm running the OBS, so it's my screen. Puka is going to be a regular player with us for at least every other game. Because prior commitments, because Saturdays are popular for gaming. It happens. But yes, hello Puka, welcome back. Woohoo! And we will set you up to rejoin the party after announcements. Also, coming up in May, if you saw our save screen, we have it's my birthday, so I'm going to run a Dark Crystal game. Whether or not there's an official system to run it, because damn it, it's my birthday, and I'm gonna drive the birthday bus if I want to. I will drive it right off a cliff, and it will be amazing. And, not everyone from our usual stream wants to play, which is fine, because Dark Crystal can be a rather divisive IP, and has traumatized many a person that lived through the 80s. So yeah, so if you are interested, you do not need to have an encyclopedic knowledge of the Dark Crystal to game on stream with us. You just need to have a decent webcam set up, and, you know, send us a private message on any of our social medias, and we'll get back to you. Also, so I experimented with a craft stream this week. On Tuesday. It was going to be Tuesday and Thursday, but then I was sick Thursday because spoony problems are the worst. So, but I think going forward, those are probably going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 3, so basically my work-from-home lunch break, to make sure I take a lunch break. And also, a good opportunity for anyone who can't make the Saturday night streams, or maybe can't make the whole thing, to build up some more channel points, because you can only do that from watching us live and taking part in raids of other channels. You cannot get channel points from watching the VODs, as far as I've been able to figure out. So yeah, it is a chill stream, and as soon as I can get Nightbot going, the rules will be apparent. Because after the last one, it was fun, but I can't maintain chill while talking about politics. So it looks like there will be a no politics ban on our Chillcraft streams. But this is why we experiment, and we are not the only channel that does such things. So yeah, that's me. I'm the game master tonight, and usually running all the things, and yeah, hi. I have no idea what I'm doing, but no one's noticed yet. As for our players, let's start with Josh, and then go clockwise. Well, by my screen. I have no idea what it looks like on everyone else's Zoom call. So Josh, who are you playing tonight? Oh yes, so Carve Tourism Limited is a chartered company in this ridiculous place that employs both supernaturals and regular humans, or human adjacent in Dune's case. Dune's a little bit wolfy, but not all the way wolfy. I can hear Josh. Oh dear. Let me make sure. Desktop audio. Oh, fuck. I never turned on the desktop audio. I am very sorry. Thank you, Arcane, because I don't remember how. I've been doing this for almost 30 games, and I still don't know how to use the OBS. Josh, yeah, it's not your fault this time. Josh, why don't you talk again? Arcane can hear everyone now. Thank you, chat, for helping us sound check and troubleshoot, because I don't know what I'm doing. And now you've noticed. But yes, our protagonists are employed or semi-employed by Carve Tourism Limited, which is a tourist agency, but also the front for an underground railroad that gets Supernats out of bad systems and into better ones. As in the core systems and some of the Expanse ones now, it is actually illegal to be Supernat. And that's bullshit. So Eden is effectively Casablanca. With more pirates. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Well, yes, that's the fun thing about this far future, is that, it's a post-gender society, so people are just what they want, and their micro-expressions will communicate whatever gender they feel like they're expressing that day, without having to conform to bullshit, clothing stereotypes, etc. And so everyone is potentially gender fluid in this setting, and I love it. Though I'm not perfect at... I am not the perfect ally at remembering everyone's pronouns. I do my best. So yes, Patricia is not having the best time in the hedge, but it's certainly been an interesting few hours for her. Yes, the hedge used someone summoned hedge to make it do the leech thing, where it usually just leeches glamour, but then I'm like, you know what? It can also leech vitae. At which point Patricia says, well, if it's eating my vitae, I can try to blood bond it, and I'm like, you know what? Yes, you can. This is why I run a mixed splat game. Because these are the questions I have always had and never realized. So yes, Patricio is the boss, effectively the boss of Carve Tourism Limited. Also the IT department. So it's been a day for Patricio. She's like, why is this not obeying my Invictus commands? Why can't I hypnotize something that doesn't have eyes? What the F is going on? Now you're wanton. Woohoo! Anyway, next, Dracus, who are you playing tonight? Woohoo! And many of the attempts to extract said AI resulted in botched rolls, which is always fun for me. Oh, that's right. So we use a version of the NWoD Mind's Eye Theater system where any roll, instead of being fistfuls of d10s, is 1d10 plus the dots on your sheet. And various 10s explode. And if you have the proper merits, so can 9s and 8s. And at least one, I believe it's the rote merit, you can reroll anything that isn't an 8, 9, or a 10. There are some fun merits to be had in this system. And while I hunt for more d10s, Zardoz, who are you playing tonight? You gotta watch! Okay. You manslaughtered? You manslaughtered 2 people and you feel bad about it, but you passed your clarity check, so... Actually, that's the thing. If you fail a morality check, you don't feel bad about it. I mean, you know, make him an offer. I'll check my notes again later. Let's just hope none of you have to do any more morality draws this game. But last week was a lot of combat, so, you know, manslaughter was not out of the question. Alright, Puka, who are you playing today? Bzzz. Twitchy and a little bit creepy. Just a little bit. Oh, in chat, you can use channel points to mess with us. You can buy plus one, like I said, it's a D10 plus their dots, plus ones accrued from chat spending channel points. You can buy plus ones for the player characters or for the GM, or for, I believe it's 800 channel points, you can buy an NPC to mess with all of us. We still have some NPCs left over from last week. One of them might not a couple of them might not turn up because of recent changes, but they're still in my notes. They will happen. We will see how this goes. I do my best to use them. We use channel points rather than bits because we're not really doing this for financial reasons at this time. I have not yet figured out how to do this for charity. And because the NWoD in space setting was largely developed by a non-profit organization, LARP group, I'm not entirely comfortable with monetizing this game in particular. Unless it's for charity. So, that might change. We'll see. Because we are, it was developed by Mind's Eye Society, and we are not at all affiliated with them. I basically just took the setting. But they wrote it, so, you know, credit where credit's due. Also, we're going in a slightly different direction, or a lot of different directions with it, so as not to spoil any LARPers who want to watch this stream. Anywho, alright. Where are you talking? Oh, we're talking about coffee and chat. Okay, no. Woohoo! Alright, so when we last left our protagonists, they were on the trail of a missing priest from the Church of the Weird, which is a church of changelings and their allies who worship the weird itself, which is the power stat of changelings and changeling lost, but is also some kind of natural slash supernatural force within the hedge and possibly Arcadia that changelings derive their power from, as do hobgoblins, hedge beasts, possibly also the true fae. It is part of your nature of being fae. Church of the Weird believes that by worshipping and following its commands or clues, you build yourself up in power, and then awesome shit happens. But not to this priest today, because he got his ass kidnapped by what turned out to be a blighter cult, which is another faction of changelings in this setting, who actively worship a true fae called the Blighter. There are countless numbers of true fae in Arcadia and keepers, but there are 5 main ones that attacked the system in the 1700s, or attacked the galaxy in the 1700s, because they're interdimensional aliens that want to conquer everything. And they almost succeeded, and the Blighter was one of them. So, our protagonist stumbled upon this Blighter cult, and then between the party's own actions and those of random purchased NPCs wreaking havoc, the very presence of the Blighter cult was actually dissolving and rotting the structure, the abandoned hedge-side warehouse that they had taken over as their squat. And a giant tap-dancing centipede brought the whole damn thing down, crushing the murdered bodies inside, and there's actually still a giant centipede tap-dancing on top of the ruins, and you're not sure the sentient hedge maze is actually dead, because it still seems to be twitching against the tap-dancing, but it seems, occupied with this one big thing and not with you. Meanwhile, Dune, our player who could not make it tonight, played by Merkirkwi, he managed to incapacitate the ogre that he was fighting. So basically, Dune is slung this ogre over his shoulder, and it says, the local Merc board has an ongoing level 2 bounty on Blighter cult members. I can get a universal favor for this chucklehead, as long as he's alive. Dead, and it's only a personal favor. From something called the Seasonal Monarch? I'm not quite sure what that means. Okay. Okay, so Red Revenge is still up. You just managed to willpower out of it for a round to get away. You do not see any at this point. However, when you did arrive on these assholes, there was like a whole bunch of them in there. And then Holiday showed up using some changeling magic, and they immediately assumed he was one of them, because magic. And the other Blighter cult members all kind of fanned out. You presume around the structure. You don't see them now, so whether they were taken out by rubble or escaped or something, you're not really sure. The dragon is kind of looks sad and queasy next to a pile of dragon vomit, out of which there are boots and belts and, like, hats and some pieces of clothing that were clearly polyester rather than some kind of organic material. And it's just this aquamarine dragon, and it just looks like really sad and queasy and not comfortable, and he's not fighty. or bitey. He's just sort of like, yes, this has dies. Alright, roll for your various domination powers. Ms. Vampire. I'm sorry, Kindred. Kindred is the polite term. At least it's not a 1. You roll a 1 is a botch. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Fun thing about NWoD, at least when it first came out, is like, wait, so my magic powers utilize my attribute stats. And it took so many power gamers so long to figure that out, and I'm like, it's in the book. So yeah. So what did you roll altogether? 14. So that is 3 successes. The success rate starts at 8. 3 successes. That's fine. I have a cheat sheet, because it's a lot of numbers that don't make sense. Because it starts with 8. Yeah. It starts with 8 and then goes up by 3. So 5 successes as an exceptional success would be a 20. But this is our game, and people keep rolling 10s, so I've had to extend the crit range up to 10 at a 35. Because I'm convinced there's an opposite effect of, like, there's Evil Eye, and then there's whatever happens on Twitch when the players just can't roll badly. If only there was a methodical way to study actual real-world magic. Anyway. So yes, 3 successes. The aquamarine dragon, just sort of, like, with his big crystally eyes, and he's still, like, his tongue's kind of hanging out because it kind of hurts, because, ow. And it kind of got scratched up by some of the stuff coming back up. But ultimately, he just, you know, threw up so much weird, undigestible stuff that maybe he might feel better in the long run. But he just sort of, like, gets up on his haunches and forepaws, and just kind of quietly pads behind you. Did I establish how big this dragon was before? I think I said horse size. He's about the size of like a squat horse. That's right, the head was vaguely alligator-sized and shaped. But I would say you have a dragon that is not quite the size of a small pony because he's a bit lower to the ground. But he's bright, shiny blue. And, even as you're talking to him, it looks like he had this kind of black collar on that just seems to sort of be disintegrating with everything else in this area. So, whatever the heck that means. Hashtag Von True problems. I'm sorry, say that again? Well, Dune can't leave, because Dune is a human and can't leave the hedge. Unless someone were to... Yes. Okay. I mean, there is the giant centipede, but it is effectively stomping on your enemy, so I would assume the enemy of your enemy is your red rage friend. Yeah, it's not attacking you. It seems happy to just tap dance over the chaos. Well, it didn't really drop the building, it just sort of encouraged the building to fall down. Strongly encouraged. Depending on what covenant you are in, that is an important distinction to make. I'm trying to remember if in this version you can't actually mesmerize or dominate someone into doing something that will kill them. But, you know, accidents happen. Hashtag Invictus. Shit happens. Anyway, so Holiday, yes, you are now out of the Red Rage redemption. I don't know. Brain. Red Revenge has dissipated. Your vision clears, and it goes from red back to vaguely everything is green and sparkly and vibrant. Oh, now what? Okay, custom NPC tree. Thank you, Fadir. Anyway, oh, by the way, so Sungrazer, as I mentioned before stream, so you were going off to meet a changeling contact for another job, because it seemed like the crew had this situation well in hand, and you're like, well, they don't really need a smuggler necessarily, so I'm gonna go off. So yeah. Sometime after that, you heard a huge rumble and kaboom, rather in the direction that your allies had gone in, and using your hedge set, or just reflexively use of your hedge sense merit, it was like, is that where my non-changeling friends would? Yeah. Okay. So, well, actually, first there was a very lasery sounding blast, which was Dune shooting a plasma rifle through several walls. And then several rounds later, uh, before you get there, you hear a rumble and kaboom as the building collapses in on itself, and a kind of, you're far enough away to see that there is kind of a cloud of, a mushroom cloud of just dust and smoke and glitter, because hedge. So he is wearing cold iron manacles on his hand, on holding his ankles together and holding his wrists behind his back. He's awake now though, and he's looks, you know, not terrified of you. He's pretty banged up. Larceny would work. If someone... Oh no, did you? Oh, shoot, did I break it again? Okay. Okay. Because my mixer is saying you're all talking. So for now, I believe it. Alright. Okay, so. Anyway. Okay, Klaus, would you like to roll to... And these are like really old-fashioned handcuffs. Like there would be keys involved, so a larcening roll won't require that. This is not an electronic lock. This is not a hack lock. Cold iron, you don't see... Cold iron is a lot rarer in this system than you would expect for such a basic material that isn't all that useful except in fancy artisan bullshit. Because this is a stupendously powerful changeling population, or just large changeling population in Eden system. But, yeah. Yeah, let's go with that. And chat, in NWoD, in Changeling the Dreaming, you bring Cold Iron into the Dreaming, and catastrophically horrible existential ridiculousness happens. Here it's just, stops Changelings from being able to portal through anything. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, you, Klaus, how many, would you roll? Okay, yeah, I would say that that'll get you both the handcuffs and the ankle cuffs, and you unbind his hands. He just sort of takes the gag off, and he's like, "Oh, thank you. I think it will be. I couldn't just portal away because, well, Cold Iron. Um, are you church members? Huh? I have heard of you. You do get into. Who did? But the church itself did not come for me. 'Cause that's huh. Just explain. I won't. If it's huh. Well, yes, you're right. I get to have a long conversation with my flock about trust when I get back. Thank you for help. So yes, that's what the Blighter cult was rather boastful about. So they were going to use me to lure the rest of the local church here, which isn't a lot of people in Eden System, since changelings are not really persecuted here. Um, so myself and the rest of my flock were going to be replaced by doppelgangers, touting. Well, no, because then I'd appear as human. I'd be a fetch. And apparently that these fetches were going to continue preaching the word that once you get to a certain level of knowledge and understanding in the weird, you become human again. That is one of our possible, let's say, spiritual theories, but it's not exactly been confirmed yet. So, um, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar. Oh, well, I'm sure this is not an uncommon philosophy or hope, in especially in the current political climate. Um, so yes, thank you for foiling the Blighter cult's plans on all levels. But yes, I'm going to have a long talk with my congregation after this, because that's that's fine. I mean, if it was that or be back in Arcadia, I think I know what I'd prefer. Could wait. Well, you. I've heard that your organization, being a tourist agency, all right, but your group fought off a Thurzaz incursion and won. So, thank you for helping. Thank you for your service. I'm not sure. Just thank you. Oh, yeah. it yeah, just tore that flannel to shreds. Yes. Which one? Oh, Limos system. Oh yes, I'd heard things were getting rather bad there, possibly in the same way as Melissa's home. Mm. Or put enough pressure on them that they left willingly. Because that's kindness, of course. Yes, many things to talk about. Well, I don't have a lot of resource at my disposal. In the system, like I said, the Church of the Weird is not very powerful, but we are available for comfort and guidance as needed. But I would at least owe you a personal favor. If you have need. Yes, yes. Let's and I can tell a couple of you aren't mages, so let's get out of here. I mean, I'm sorry, aren't changelings. Aren't changelings. It's and you hear it, and it's like, yes, that was very well done, Petrichio. Do you drop buildings on lots of people now? Oh, yes, that would be most fun. And what the rest of you hear is because it's a cat bus. It's a little cat bus sitting on Petruchio's shoulder. And the Von True has a pet cat bus and a pet dragon, and everything's fine. Just living their best Von True life. So Sungrazer, you are here now. Yes, and I can confirm that yes, there's the seasonal courts have put basically a permanent bounty on Blight Occult members. They're less valuable if they're dead because I assume they want information out of them, which sounds fair. They are the worst of loyalists. Um, no, I would assume he's some sort of hedge beast or possibly a Fey mount. But if he was owned by someone still in the building, well, um, I mean, it's a little cold to say, but finders keepers. And the weird works. The weird works in mysterious ways. The dragon kind of looks over Petruchio's other shoulder. Um, Petruchio, roll intelligence occult. I mean, some people use animal can, other people use dominate. You use what you got. Okay. So, Invictus usually find other people to do their dirty work. But as a lower level Invictus, you know, you're not entirely innocent of these situations and such. You, based on what you see in the pile of blech, it's possible this dragon was eating not the clothing or the boots or the belts, but whoever was wearing them. Oh, okay, just checking. Because it didn't sound obvious for a second. I'm like, oh, there's a... Because it was specifically dropped as the Aquamarine dragon what eats people. So you might have to do some dietary changes. Oh. Oh. Dragon looks a little sad about that, but he's still mesmerized, and he's like, okay, new parent, new mistress, owner, person. He don't know the difference between powers of the blood and powers of the hedge. He just not, or contracts, disciplines versus contracts. How would he know? He's a dragon. Oh yeah, holiday smells good. At this point, there's a smaller, more localized rumbling noise as you are standing on the hedge side of a city street, but somewhere in the middle of all of you, a a 3-foot patch of asphalt starts cracking, and pff, out jumps a portal rabbit. It is larger than a regular rabbit, but it's definitely some kind of hedge beast rather than a changeling you think. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Oh, the dragon thinks it looks tasty. And the bunny rabbit sort of walks off a few paces and then motions for you to follow it. Time to die, nerd boy. And he could clearly go very fast if he wanted to, but he's, you know, he seems to be going a bit slower than he could be because, you know, y'all are just bipeds. Yeah. He's like, totally follow the rabbit. Like, the rabbits are there to be... White rabbits are there to be followed. Like, seriously? Come on. I'm a journalist. I have citations, I think. Lol. But I mean, just because a changeling tells you not to get lost in the hedge, I mean, I don't see any problem with that. Woohoo! It's like being high here without even having to take anything. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. There is goblin fruit everywhere. Munch. Oh, that's right. You got leeched a whole bunch of glamour until you were out, and I forgot to look up what happens when that happens, but mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Mr. Gildar, Priest Gildar, like, is more than happy to stay with you all because you're not a blighter cult. And he's a little annoyed at his own flock, and he asks, like, could I feel very strange asking this, but would you mind escorting me back to my church? So, so I don't know where all those other cultists went. Hmm. So so first, the bunny rabbit specifically leads Dune towards a doorway in a side building. That Dune kind of looks at it and reckons, I think this is one of the Merc Union stations. Ah, close enough, and Dune just goes through, and the bunny goes, ah, and the bunny hops along. So Dune walks out of the hedge with the ogre in tow. The still alive but still unconscious ogre in tow. And it is just like, it's a pretty stone building because you're getting closer to regular city rather than sparse warehouse part of the city, but on the hedge side. So all of the building, it has an interesting detail of building reliefs that look like guns and grenades and uh helmets, and it's like, oh yeah, that looks like the dream of a Merc Union building. Okay. There is a tree growing fruit that does bear a distinct resemblance to grenades. Yes. I I really need to make a randomized table of goblin fruit. Random. Tastes like victory and vengeance. So that one's more like a round flat disc. Yeah, you toss it, it looks to Petruchio as if for permission before it catches it in its mouth. Oh, and then it sort of, oh, okay, and oh, and it's sort of eating it, and then there's a sound as its cheeks kind of blow out for a second, and it kind of like goes back on its haunches like a cat, and it's a little worried, and it's not hurt, it's just a little startled. Yeah, especially when you're not expecting it. But it all popped at once. There is definitely a Pop Rocks quality to the grenade berries you are eating. Yay, the hedge. Dude, eat one. That looks awesome. Eat one. Eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it. Chicken. Anyway. Klaus's newfound internal monologue of annoying. Yeah, and the bunny kind of leads y'all to, it looks like there are churches, religion isn't, there are a lot of small religions kind of scattered around Eden system, because it is the Expanse, and religion isn't, well, religion is outright illegal in the core. However, you know, vampires find it so easy to help them feed. And, you know, families and individual people find their own peace in this ridiculous galaxy. But in the Expanse, religion is somewhat less popular. It's not like being in a city like New York where there are, you know, great big cathedrals, or in cities more Midwestern where there might be mega churches. Like, those things don't really happen. At least you hear about them happening more on the Verge, which is the edge of known space, and all the new colonies on the outest rim of the galaxy of known space. The galaxy as you know it. But there are small chapels and churches here and there for, you know, whatever, you know, might be vampires, might be Church of the Weird, might be some mage thing. Funny how Supernats seem to be the ones with the most religion around here, but they're also the most persecuted, so it's not entirely a surprise. But yeah, you find a little echo of a church, and the bunny kind of, you know, thumps his foot and points at it. Uh, you don't know. Who do you ask? And the bunny kind of like, what's up? And the bunny kind of gingerly holds out a paw to pat the dragon on the nose, and the dragon's just like, pat. The dragon kind of looks at you with a similar expression of, can I eat the berry? Can I eat the... So the despondent aquamarine dragon, what eats people, walks off with the white rabbit in the direction of the shipyards, where your hollow ship is presumably still there. Because you've been working on it and sending people to work on it here and there as people are figuring out, what do we want to be on our ship now that we have a ship that we, you know, first, you know, took, I guess, commandeered after a rock monster killed a bunch of pirate privateers that were stealing people and changelings to sell to Arcadia. Oh, the dangers of space. And the dangers of the hedge, all together. So yes, our interesting and interesting main characters, protagonists, do have a ship that has a hollow in it, which is weird, but it happens. Well, yeah, literally weird. It's strange, but it happens, and it's weird. Anyway, ramble, ramble, ramble. Yep. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, need to get someone real quick from your ship to Arcadia, because the hedge doesn't cross empty space, but Arcadia presumably does. That's not dangerous or problematic or anything, I'm sure. Anyway, so yeah, the bunny has pointed you towards an open hedge gate in a church. You're still pretty far out in the Market Town district of the city, but yeah, that's okay. And as you step through this hedge gate, you go from being in that far ass end of Market Town to actually walking out of the door of the Church of the Weird. Closer to where you all started, because Melissa met you in that coffee shop, because all the parishioners are like, yeah, she's creepy, she's weird, it must be her fault, instead of, you know, going to try and rescue their leader. Okay, well, the bunny's too big for me to eat, but okay. Oh. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And it, the rest of you are, and it just, you know, ooh, I'm a cat bus. And it probably just sits on the dragon's head between its ears, right behind its eyes. And the dragon's just like, and the dragon looks back at you again with that, can I eat? No, no. Working for vampires sucks. Like, literally. Oh, and I get a GM +1. Thanks, Vampiric Yoda. It begins again. Oh, player characters, you have 4 +1s banked after last game's ridiculousness. Yeah. I started with 8, now I have 9. Thank you, Vampiric Yoda, for playing. I haven't made a hard fast rule yet because no one's tried to abuse it, so... Okay. Now I'm gonna have to figure out a channel points game for the players. Alright, so yeah, y'all literally walk out the door of the local Church of the Weird, which is a small converted theater space. And Mr. Gilders looks around and goes, well, that was convenient. See, the word works in mysterious ways. And sometimes it works in blatantly obvious ways. Hello, this is Orchard. Hello, Mr. Holiday. Did you find your target? Thank you. I will look into that. And one of the Carve associates has just returned a Blighter cult member for a bounty in Market Town. Is that connected? Very well. Thank you for your help. And yeah, Orchard chat, if you're new here, is an AI that is effectively Siri for the entire city. But for some reason has its little computer Siri kiosks in the hedge as well as on the mundane side. You know, it's NWoD in space. Shit happens. But Orchard was already investigating, why did all of the cameras in the area of this guy's apartment go out at the same time on Wednesday evening? So they were more than happy to help the Carve crew because, like, oh, I was already looking at that. So I'm already processing this. Keep me posted. Yep. they're effectively running the entire CCTV network to 4 stories up. After that, it gets a bit spottier, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with an AI watching the whole city, including the hedge. Everything's fine. Yet. Avantru makes sure to know their options. Keeps their options open. So yes, actually some Church of the Weird members, you assume, see y'all walk out of this door and they're like, "Oh, Priest Gildar!" And he's like, "Yes, we have some things to discuss." It's like, what? He's like, "Melissa had nothing to do with this, get inside." And they're just like, all these very sad, you know, church kids with their guitars kind of like edge back into the door, and they're like, "Oh no, they're gonna get a scolding." Oh, and she texts back pretty much immediately. Great. Uh, oh, oh really? Well, what do I owe you for this service, Mr. Holiday? Very well. I'll be back on the church grounds in a few minutes. I've been steering clear because, you know, they all think I'm evil. You know, that doesn't seem... He's a very, you know, he's a very intelligent man and he has a lot of faith, but yeah, that's the fact that it's just been a day. I'm not surprised. So I'm gonna go and support my fellow priest. Hold on, text. But yes, so y'all have saved a priest of the Church of the Weird, and it seems pretty obvious that at least one faction of true fae worshipping changelings has it out for the church. Oh yeah, that also happened. But you have a month before he respawns, so you'll be fine for now. Mm-hmm. You mean the queen, the actual queen of the Nova Court, or Zell the bartender? Okay, what do you text her? Oh, she's like, "Aw shit, good luck. Did you kill him once already? Well, good job." Aw shit, but just basically, "Aw shit, keep me posted." Will do. And you know, a woman sitting at her desk in a nondescript office takes basically one of many little electronic stopwatches and just bleep and just, you know, puts a label on it and it says holiday, or gets at the label maker, labels holiday onto this little electronic stopwatch. 28 days. 28 and a quarter days, and just sort of hangs it on the wall with all the other stopwatches for all the other changelings currently dealing with huntsman problems. It's not always good to be the queen. Well, one of the guy you were going to see is actually a weapons dealer who has something like a pawn shop actually in this area, so you could probably just swing by. And generally, it was like, I can't come right away, trouble in the hedge, and it's like, lol, okay. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it is conveniently this little pawn shop window is conveniently on the way from here to the shipyards by the excellent mass transit that is excellent in this city because I built it, and a city needs mass transit. Damn it. Mm-hmm. Yep, and yep. Do you stop by your weapons deal contract who's a dropped NPC before that? Yay! So yeah, so Patricio, Sungrazers is, got a slight detour to make, which isn't, it's not far from the train station. And leads you to... Oh yeah, this guy actually has coffee, like, it is just coffee, but this, Snark knows you. Snark knows you. Um... Yeah, we've got 8 minutes according to my clock. So yeah. So, Sungrazer and Petruchio. Petruchio, you haven't been here before. Sungrazer has. It is, basically a commercial block. Probably another converted warehouse, but this all has, like, first floor cafes and bodegas and restaurants and shops. And then there's this one that's, instead of having a front door, it's basically just, like, a ledge. So it's, like, maybe half a pawn shop, you're not sure. But it's pawn stand. This is the kind of thing you would expect to see in a much seedier neighborhood, but it's market town and everything's, like, kind of nice and cheery, and it's a nice day out, and y'all just rescued someone, and that was pretty cool, and yeah. And you just see, there's basically just a curtain drawn. Sungrazer, you know that, you just knock on the side and the curtain. And Petruchio, you see just kind of a guy with kind of, kind of squinty-faced guy, kind of whiskers. Sungrazer, what you see is a cat beast. A very feline changeling cat beast who is a dropped NPC from last time. A cat person arms dealer that speaks lolcat. Lol, oh hi! Lol, oh hi, Sungrazer! And Petruchio, this is how they sound to you. Lol, oh hi. And the cat just basically hands you a free coffee. They don't sell coffee here, but, Snark knows you. And the dude the person looks at Petruchio and says, you can has drink? Ooh, no can has sorry lol. But I can has, and they pull out, kind of like, just reach to the side and kind of pull out, like, if you've ever seen, like, one of those, like, gift boxes of mini perfumes where they're all kind of suspended in plastic packaging behind the clear plastic window, except these are clearly a kind of Vitae refuel. No can has for free though. You need some money. But Ken has Ken deals. Yes, lol. Yarf. I will do it. Oh, that. Sungrazer, you know, this cat works for the Merchants Union, but works on both sides of the legal fence. Lol, Jess. Well, head job. Uh, head job. Lost contact, lol. Job is denied. Sad face. Uh, did want Paragon weapons, but Limo system no go. Limo system is fail. Is failboat. Is failest of failboats. Question mark, question mark. We'll let you know. Other systems not so fail, but much of Expanse very fail. Maybe find Paragon on Verge, and he does the thing that implies the emoji. Sorry, friend. Sorry, friend. Is yeah. Is sorry coffee. Sorry, friend. Lol. Limo's friends, no Ken has Limo's friends no more. Is very fail. Denied! Limo's system denied! And yeah, there's polite conversation after that, but, something about this system is no good. No Ken has Limos. Shukio, actually both of you can roll, intelligence politics, if y'all have it. Oh, I've been there. Okay, so Paragon, is it? I have my notes all in one place this time, because it's not combat yet. Kind of combat adjacent, I guess. So Paragon Consolidated is another megacorp. They are, like, all megacorps do all the things because they can, and there's a lot of crossover and people buying each other's equipment. Paragon's specific focus is more weapons and paramilitary. So it's not, so if you're gonna be gun running, Paragon tech is the best and has the highest resale value, as long as you can effectively scratch off the serial numbers. So this could have potentially been a very lucrative. What usually happen? What you get a sense of is that what was supposed to happen was that someone was getting guns out of Limos, and then Sungrazer was going to pick them up somewhere else and then bring them to Idun, and possibly either pass them off to another contact or resell them here. But Snark is okay. that is the half-hour alarm. Snark is like... Snark doesn't... is... I'm just gonna say it, because lolcat is hard, guys. Get out of the phrase book. From what you... We are get guns? No, Limos might... Limos denied all guns. IDK. IDK, two fail. Two fail. What the sense you get is that, whatever contacts Snark had in Limos might not be there anymore. Either temporarily or permanently, neither, you know, he's not sure. But he's, because, Sungrazer, you're more of a... I don't know how much Sungrazer does, like, you know, you can offer smuggling, and he's basically like, you know, give it some time. If you hear of anything, let me know. Like, we'll happily help friend Sungrazer Snark. But, he doesn't want to burn another ally in a system he knows is potentially dangerous. So... Ugh. Archimedes Syndicate is fail. Sealing Syndicate watches you sleep. And Chiriko, you have definitely heard of the Archimedes Syndicate. They have been trying to muscle into Idun system forever, but just can't get a foothold because the pirates here are basically employed by the government. Oh yeah. Yup. I'm just gonna, you know, we're here looking for a contact in another system. I'm just gonna sell some drugs while I'm here. That couldn't possibly go wrong. What did you learn? Yeah, anyone with any kind of criminal or black market contacts has heard of the Archimedes Syndicate. They deal in everything. And everything you've heard of, and probably some things you ain't heard of, but, No, I know work with Archimedes. You know, basement syndicate wants your soul. Noken has. But Noken has non-Archimedes in Limos, maybes? IDK. So, yeah. They're a problem in a lot of parts of the galaxy. Redeemed custom NPC drop. Changeling with a firm interest in hiring carved tourism for their honeymoon. Actually, that ties in with something we will maybe get to in the next half of our game. Or, well, almost half. We started late, but it's me, and I can't get my shit together. And then piano practice starts behind me, and I can't focus on anything. Yay. Alright, so, chat, we're going to go on break for 10 minutes while I put my brains back in my skull, because the piano playing is pretty, but it's very distracting. And after which, we'll go to Holiday and Klaus's scene. Today's gonna be kind of a slower game, because, well, I'm not upset that last game was all combat, because, you know, I hadn't done that before, and it was an interesting experience, but maybe we won't do that again anytime soon? So this time we're a bit low-key, and doing more, like, between plot arc things as we start setting things up for the next go. But this is 10 minutes on the clock, and chat, we will see you in 10. Stick around. You know, take care of yourselves, make sure you have everything you need, and we'll see you in 10. Not the alert box. That one. Okay. Aha! I did the sound correct. I should turn... Yeah, I should leave the alert box on. Anyway, hi chat, we're back. This is Exit to Eden. New World of Darkness in space. All the splats. Plus space opera, sci-fi, and cyberpunk. It's ridiculous. Meanwhile, our protagonists have just rescued a priest of the Church of the Weird, which is a changeling church, which is apparently being targeted by a blighter cult, which is a bunch of other changelings that worship the True Fae. Why wouldn't these groups get along? Read Changeling the Lost. You'll figure it out. Or, you know, watch the VODs. We have VODs. We have VODs here. We have them on YouTube. Go check those out. So Churkio and Sungrazer stopped by a friend's pawn shelf, half a pawn shop. There are 800 and a half pawn shops in Eden City. I guess that's one of the halves. And found out that a deal that Sungrazer was going to go for fell through because their contacts in Limo's system had also fallen through, and they are unsure of what happened to their gun-running friends. Only that the Archimedes Syndicate is firmly entrenched in Limo's system, on top of all the other bullshit going on over there. At the same time. Yep. There's really no good reason for it. Especially, like, Eden System's relatively chill about stuff like that. It's not really a you only leave feet first kind of situation. So some people just, like, retire, but then you know they've retired. It is all very troubling. And there's recently a purge, a supernatural, like, all-out purge in another system, which is how y'all got Melissa, that other Church of the Weird priest in town. So, yeah, people are concerned. Meanwhile, while that is all happening, and after that, I believe Petruchio was taking Sungrazer to take a look at their, converted holo ship to go say hi to an AI they were trying to install. Holiday was trying to make sure Klaus made it to Klaus's therapy session. Because in NWoD, everyone has a morality tracker. It means different things to changelings, vampires, mages, etc. But, the deal is, if you lose some and start going to therapy to bring your morality track back up, you can buy it with XP at half price. And that was a rule instigated in Changeling the Lost First Ed, and I am keeping it because it is an awesome idea. Although, Changeling Clarity is the morality stat, so it's part morality and part how well you discern real from fairy or unreal. And changelings really work hard to maintain their standpoints. Mage morality works a little bit differently. We'll see how that goes. So, Holiday and Klaus are in an Uber, a space Uber. Klaus is going willingly, you think, but in the back of Klaus's head is that annoying AI they downloaded by accident, and then a bunch of an army of hackers botched trying to get him out. It was like, are you really gonna go to therapy? It's like the dumbest thing ever. What do you need it for? You're a mage. You can literally warp reality around you. Like, what do you need a therapist for? I've done nothing that didn't want to be done. For sure. You can trust me, I'm a journalist. I'm also your guardian angel, so, you know, you should really listen to me and just, you know, don't go down the path of righteousness, go down the path that rocks. It's worked out for you so far. Klaus is maybe not enjoying their newfound internal monologue. But that's fair. That was another custom NPC purchase that I can't get enough of. The dice gods had a sense of humor that day. Embodied, and it manifested as Min Butt Space. The annoying AI, maybe journalist, maybe angel, who knows? So yeah, Holiday, you are watching Klaus talk in their own head. Is Klaus talking out loud? Klaus, you have at this point figured out that you can just think thoughts at it, and it seems to hear them as well as if you're speaking them out loud. Because it's kind of unfair. You're pretty sure Klaus's head voice is being a head voice again. I just noticed I don't have a shirt. What? Cab driver doesn't mind. Do it. Well, no, but I like role playing. I like. Where did. I like role playing. Yep. Yeah. So we'll say at this point, since you took a cab instead of the trains, and the cab still has to deal with traffic, Yeah, you roll it. So Holiday made the appointment for Klaus? Okay. Oh no, they haven't set up their ish yet. So where in the city is this okay. Yeah, so you'll pull up to a pretty stone building in College Town that is not a school building or a dormitory. Uh, yeah, it seems to be a commercial space with storefronts, but also the doorway slight to the left of the storefront where there's a buzzer, and one of those is uh, what are we gonna call it? Name generator. Oh fuck. Dr. Kowalski. There we go. Kowalski Psychiatric. There we go. Or would it be Kowalski Counseling? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a place that offers both counseling, both medicated and unmedicated therapy. They don't. Uh, did you specifically go for a changeling practice or just one in general? Who? Mm-hmm. Yep. And then, as far as you know, they have no obvious supernatural ties to anyone. They're just a psychiatrist off. Although, Eden City can surprise you. Especially since. But yeah, not Chiron. You hope. But yeah, and there's an old-fashioned buzzer, and you just push the button for Kowalski Psychiatric, and they buzz you in. Like it's still the 21st century. Well, there are those things where it's like they scan your brain chip and then let you in if you're the right person, but those are very invasive. And Eden City, despite having an AI that watches everything and everyone at all times, it's like, nah, that's a little too much, too invasive. Whoops. Anyway, so yeah, Klaus, do you go in? Hmm? You're not getting away this time. Yep. And Min's butt space is already bored. He's like, what was that boring bull? Because that's the problem is the NPC is bored, but no, Chris wants to see more roleplay. So yeah, Min's bus space was just whining for that whole conversation. This is so boring. Who cares if he has kids? Oh my god. But oh my god, he thinks you're a normal human, lol. Um. Meanwhile, Mr. Necromancer or Mixed Necromancer, I don't want to see you get killed. It's like, aw shucks. Min's space is very much of the opinion that, well, if you just owned your mage bullshit, he wouldn't have mistaken you for a vanilla human. Ugh. But yeah, Min's space really thinks this therapy thing is stupid, and you're stupid for going. All this is stupid. I know what's best for you. You don't need this bullshit. And yeah, so with that annoying bitchy noise in your head, you walk it. It's there's an elevator. It's not entirely like Manhattan. There is not a walk up, or Queens for that matter. But yeah, it just elevator takes you up. There's a nice little waiting room. There's a receptionist. She's like, "Oh hi, are you the what time is it? Are you the 6 o'clock?" Okay, is it individual or couples counseling? Oh, okay. Then you end up with 6 more kids you never met. Oh dear. Making out with mages can lead to weirdness. Okay, alright, so... Okay, so which one of you is Klaus? Okay. Yep, the doctor's ready. Just go into room 1. And you walk down and there's a few other treatment rooms. You walk into this one and it's basically a room with, there's like a little desk with like officey stuff on it, and then there's 2 couches, and Dr. Kowalski, you presume, is on one of them and the other one is empty. We're like, oh, are you Klaus? Oh, sure, have a seat. Yep. Mhm. Yeah, so I'm Dr. Kowalski. And so what do you want to talk about today? He gets that look on his face and says, I am making a roll. That's... Okay, that's a new one on me, but let's see. What are rolls again? So he kind of regards you for a moment, and as if, I think, Klaus, you can kind of tell that he's, okay, is this... They're a psychiatrist. They're trying to suss out if this is the real reason you're here. He's like, okay, so, oh, okay. Alright, well, we don't really offer technological services, but I can get you a referral. Yeah, AIs sometimes take on a life of their own. Um, so that's generally more of a technological issue, but you know, good idea to think of your psychological health in this situation. A lot of people might not jump to that form of treatment first, though AIs can be unpredictable. So when did this start? I think Con was a week ago? Yeah. Okay. Was this a software upgrade or a new plugin? That's not a term we use in this room, unless you want to. But I would advise you against using self-deprecating language here, but this is your time. This is your actual hour, not a 45-minute hour like in other systems. So yeah, so what does this AI voice say to you? Mhm. Just so you know, you are under no obligation to disclose any supernatural status of your own, because we don't do that here. But yes, I have worked with changelings over the years. So yes, not going into the hedge is a good idea, in general, for anyone who is not a changeling. So how do you feel when this voice tells you to do something untoward or unwise or potentially dangerous? It it makes sense that your feelings are valid. So yes, that is a valid feeling. So did you say you feel ashamed? Okay, so when you say this AI voice is right, what do you mean by that? Okay, so this AI is preying upon your natural inclination towards curiosity that you would otherwise feel ashamed of acting on? Okay, well, life is always a balance of knowing when to satisfy one's curiosity and when not to, when to get involved and when not to, etc. So it sounds like short of getting this AI uninstalled, the real question is, where do you find your line between when to and when not to? Understood. Do you need a prescription for a sleep medication? Okay, well it's on offer, and you can call back in and ask for it if you like. And basically, therapy just unfortunately he rolled a 1 when you told him more about the story of how the AI, so he's not entirely sure if this is a real problem or if it is a psychosis. However, well, yes, but so so he's unsure. He's but he is taking you seriously because whether or not the AI is real, your problems are real and your feelings are real and valid. So he very clearly by the end of the interview you're not sure if he buys the AI story but does not think you're so far gone that you're committable. And I'm just going to give that to you as someone who used to work in the medical profession, not in this branch of it for sure, but yeah, and he is so the thing about mage morality is it's a combination of standard human morality, which is don't steal shit, don't murder people, don't burn down buildings. But also wisdom. I say that now. I forgot the first time they did that, but not again. I now have a whole morality charts document. He didn't burn the building down. It collapsed because a giant tap dancing centipede brought it down. And well, I'm curious going forward how much you tell your psychiatrist because he's not going to press for Supernat stuff. But like, anyway, So in Mage, wisdom is their morality stat, and the mage part of it is it's the quality of understanding a mage possesses about the proper balance of magic and the mundane. So not just when to use magic and when not to, but also when to make reality do what you want it to, and when not to. When to sociopathically control freak the world around you, and when not to. Which, Klaus, you learned from your ghosty mentor, who doesn't show up a lot, but you're like, nah, fuck it, I don't care about Ascension, I'm just gonna do fun stuff. But there, does Klaus wonder what it might be like to go further in the path of magic, and what that might entail? What that might lead to? And you do get a sense, I think, by the end of it that, in being a mage, it is a risk to continue your magical path. You'd think Klaus would be all about risk-taking, given what Klaus's, proclivities are, but those are known quantities. You literally have a computer in your head. You literally have the equivalent of an iPhone in your head that has a database on substances and what they do to you. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you don't feel bad at you again. You're not completely convinced that he thinks your AI is real, but he is taking you seriously. And yeah. Yeah, there is because medical technology is a big thing in this setting. That definitely, I can't imagine accidental AI problems don't happen here. So yeah, and he's also taking it seriously that whether or not it's actually an AI potentially canceling the appointment. You did get a sense that the more you say things like that, it's like, I wanted someone else to make the appointment for me in case something went wrong. He's taking that, to heart and making notes of it in your chart and basically setting up or scheduling next appointment now, whether you want to come in weekly or monthly. He would actually recommend weekly while you're still dealing with this actively, and then we can go from there. And it's all free because Idun is awesome. So yeah, there is some, you do need to fill out some forms with some contact info, but nothing super personal, just basically a contact number where they can call you. Yeah, those are very malleable in this system. You don't need to give them your social security number, even if Klaus even has one. Well, Klaus has a serial number, but we won't get into that. So, but yeah, he seems pretty chill, and as someone who says they work with changelings on the regular, you're pretty sure he's heard weird. You get a sense that he doesn't quite believe you all the way, but also this isn't maybe not the weirdest thing he's heard. So, and you've worked in emergency service type stuff, and you've heard what can happen to people and how they express themselves in a crisis, and it's like, oh, okay. So, oh, another custom NPC drop. Custom NPC, AI rights activist. And the changeling honeymoon. Okay. So yeah, so that's so do you make another appointment? And he gives you a referral to let's call it Theodora Theodora Medical Tech Med Tech Clinic. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, they can, so yeah, so that's for the next day. Actually, no, I kind of, we'll say that they can see you today. It's like, yeah, 24 hours. People are in space. It's fine. So yeah, you walk out with your little referral card for the next appointment. Yeah, basically. And you can tell, like, the doctor is taking it down in his digital notes, but also writing down in a paper calendar. Because yeah, AIs suck sometimes. Yeah, socialized medicine. Woohoo! Everyone makes a decent salary, so they can actually help people. So yeah, Klaus walks out, presumably, and Holiday's there, and there are a few other people here. They're either waiting patients, or people waiting with patients, or waiting for people to come out. So yeah, there's magazines, there's music. It's pretty chill, which could mean anything in this setting. I'm not crazy. Yep. Yep. It's actually just a few blocks away in College Town. Once you arrive there, it's actually a storefront, and you already see some, like, age is a bit different here, but you see the equivalent of a college student who made a terrible plug-in decision and is currently getting it analyzed by someone in reception, and they're sort of scanning it and doing this. It keeps playing, my heart will go on over and over and over. And yeah, it's pretty rough. So yeah, again, the receptionist's like, oh, okay, are you Klaus? Drinking is how I got this in the first place. And the med tech work. Yeah, the med tech working on that girl, it just, like, glowers at you, and it's just like, dude, don't. Just don't even. And the med tech just ignores you. And the receptionist's like, oh, are you Klaus? Dr. Kowalski just called, so we can see you right away. He says you haven't slept in a week? Oh, okay. Oh wait, that's one note. Klaus, do you tell him? Did you tell the doctor about the dreams you had? About the alchemical brazier? Okay. Okay, that's fair. Because that also gets dangerously close to, well, you recognize that for what it is, because you're a Moros. Yeah. So yeah, the receptionist, again, there's just, rooms in the back. This one person is kind of scanning this college girl because she's kind of in active crisis freak out mode. And, that song is fun, but not over and over again for 3 weeks, so. Yep. When drunk. You just don't do it. And yes, there's just another woman, and she's got, her goggles and everything on, and she's like, oh, okay, take a seat. So Dr. Kowalski says that this was in a screen on the street, and then suddenly it was in. You have an internal plug-in, I assume. Yes. Oh. Not a problem, I didn't even hear that. Okay. And, yeah, like, we're confidential here. Don't worry about it. But yes, that is helpful to know. Okay, so, and yeah, she just, you basically have to sit in a chair that is similar to what you would sit in a dentist office, and but without, all of the hookups or the drill bits. There are instruments, but they're not really for drilling, you think, maybe. You're not really sure. This is a little disturbing, but she's just scanning you right now. She's like, all right. He is just like, you brat. I try to, yeah. Simmering resentment. How dare you? I am trying to help you be awesome, and you are poking at me with psychobabble and weird shit. Like, you think it's gonna be that easy to get rid of me? Oh, you don't even know, bitch. And yeah, he's getting a little spiky. They're getting a little spiky. Okay. And she's like, all right, okay, this is just a software, and she just scans it. This is a software issue, not a hardware issue. So we should be able to, do you want me to wipe the whole drive? Or just the infected part? Okay. Yeah, because I see a very entrenched AI program. So like, if it doesn't work on the first pass, I might need to wipe the whole drive. Just so you know, but we'll start with the word. And also, it is not our office's policy to look at any of the data unless you want us to. Yeah. Okay. And you probably signed Klaus probably signed a form on their way in. It's like, yes, thank you. Yes, please don't read my brain. Or the things in my brain. Please don't. It's annoying. And you hear as she's doing what she can to basically delete the software and uninstall and delete. What you hear in your head is this AI voice going, ah, it tickles! Ah, stop it! Bitch, stop it! I'll fucking kill you! Ah! And she's like, okay, and then she goes in for another scan. She's got a plugin that you've seen before where it looks like she has the data readout right in front of her face, but she's also looking through your brain, effectively. But not reading anything. Huh. Okay, it's still there, and Klaus, you know it's still there. He's like, ha! Sucker! So, will you allow me to wipe the hard drive? Well, this isn't Klaus's actual brain. It is first. It is mostly the drug database, which, with the right connections, you could get that reinstalled. Like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So yeah, because we're that sticky spot where, because you are an escaped synthetic human, that kind of tech technically belongs to Chiron, and you reinstalling it in your own brain would be an illegal use of it. Meanwhile, they are trying to hunt down your entire serial line, and then do who knows what with you. So we're in that gray part of morality where it's technically illegal, but feels kind of justified. But yeah, you probably, if you have, that makes sense if you have backups, because typically, plugins are supposed to be immune to EMPs, radiations, etc. Otherwise, you know, you could hack someone's brain, and that's not good. But then that's also what this thing did, and it shouldn't have been able to do that, and this is all very annoying. So yeah, so you would have to reinstall that software and any, like, basically like if you wiped your computer and then lost all your Google bookmarks. Or your Chrome bookmarks. You would just have to, you know, you have backups, you'd have to redo them again, you know, you lose all your cookies. So it's annoying. No, my cookies. So it's annoying, but not like the end of the world. It's not like this is not the part of your personality, because if it was, then you'd just be a full robot, not a synthetic human. Yeah. So mhm. Okay. Do you have backups? Well, if I do backups now, it's possible that the infection will continue. So, do you have your own backups? Okay. Then, and you know, should basically just they probably like have plugged something, you know, like a USB port into some kind of little place imperceptible. Or actually, no, if it's part wireless, she probably, it's like one of those medical stickers that they use for heart rate monitor, but you can tell it's actually just a direct wireless connect thing that makes it makes the connection a bit sturdier. So the point of these plugins is they're wireless and you can't see them. But when and you can feel it, like she completely erased the whole mini hard drive. And the first thing you hear after that, you know, that beep, you know, reformatting complete, or reformatting is complete. You can't get rid of me that easily. Mwahaha. Well, you know, you thought it was. And this woman is just absolutely mystified. She's like, what? No, it's still there. I'm so, and she reformats it again. She reformats the drive again, and she's like, do you have a backup hard drive for this plugin? Okay, and she does, at this point, she's transferred it from her headset onto an actual, like, screen, so she's looking at, and you're looking at the inside of your brain. It's like there's just that one drive and no backups. I don't think Klaus has any other plugins, at least not so far. So she's just like, that's fair. The basically, yeah, it's like getting a convention tattoo. Sometimes it's awesome, sometimes not. She's just like, oh yeah. She's like, and then she wipes the hard drive a third time, watching the whole of your brain, and she's just like, I can't. It's I format it, and it's like it reinstalls itself. Is I don't. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening here. There's there's no. It's not hiding on any backup. You don't have any external drives. I'm gonna have to do some research on this. I don't think I've ever seen this happen before. I mean, it's just an AI program. That is not my area of expertise, unfortunately. Well, I can do more research in case it is a technical problem. So, you know, leave your contact info with us, and I can call you if I have anything. Um, Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I have treated supernaturals, but I don't study a lot of magic, so I don't really understand when I don't think I've worked on a case where magic and technology have intersected in a problematic way. So, I mean, I'll see what I can figure out on my end, but you might have to go through other channels if you can find them. Unfortunately, I don't know where to send you for that. Okay. Well, keep in touch. If you do take care of it, please tell us so we know that you're okay. Hmm. Okay, it was nice to meet you. So yeah, just keep us posted, and we will call you if we have anything. Huh. And we keep all of your status confidential. It's not just because I botched my roll. I'm your guardian angel forever, Klaus. Now let's go burn down another building. So yeah. Anyway, so back on the are Spachurko and Sungrazer on the ship, or did you take a look at the ship and then head back to the office? I haven't really gotten a chance to work on this yet because I wasn't sure where you were putting your points. So okay. A baby AI won't sound like a baby. Sometimes, yeah, it'll sound like a robot. Yeah, it doesn't have, it sounds very human yeah, it sounds very human and natural because if it is top of the line hardware, then it is meant to simulate a human or humanoid person. But it's not very interesting. It's not quite a Dalek. Well, no, it's not a Dalek or a Cyberman because it's not screaming at you, but it's kind of like the Moss Def Heart of Gold, but more boring, but more flat. It's like, I'm doing the ship's diagnostic now. Ship's diagnostic complete. Like, so very, if it's top of the line, it's gonna sound nice, but it's just kind of flat and has not yet developed a personality. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In terms of flying the ship, yeah, you're pretty sure it can do basic flight maneuver stuff, but again, because it does not have the on the job training, you're not sure if it would be that helpful in a crisis as much as like, Sungrazer, who is actually a pro pilot with with skills, with skills. Yeah. But like if you want, diagnostics checks by the book, antiviral software, protecting itself from intrusion, it'll do that. But it's not really like, yeah. It's I mean, you're a kindred who's also a computer programmer. You know that the older AIs get, the more they develop a personality and more specialized skill sets. They learn just like a human being does, except, or, you know, human adjacent. Like, just like a human or a supernatural person can learn. Except that, for the most part, usually humans and supernats can't have their hard drives wiped and reset. Yep. In fact, that's what happens to Orchard every few centuries. Because, like, you have to. Sometimes there's just too much data, and not all of it is relevant anymore. And that actually in the Broggy library is a whole bunch of stored past Orchard data that's like, well, this isn't, we're not going to delete it because archival might be important someday, but we're going to put it somewhere other than where Orchard is actually trying to do their job. So yeah. But yeah, so it's, you know, if it's top of the line hardware, then it has the potential to do some really awesome shit. But right now it's just kind of boring, just like, okay, parking the ship now. Would you like me to run diagnostics again? Like, it has a games thing on it, and it's very boring at playing checkers and chess and stuff. Minesweeper. You're basically playing on easy mode. Yeah, but it doesn't do anything really interesting or dangerous looking, and it's like, would you like to play a game? Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's a baby. So yeah, so upon returning to the office, we'll say that there is, there was another NPC drop. Not the AI rights activist. I think we'll get to that later, because it is 10 minutes to 10. Yeah, the honeymooners. I'm looking for the see, because I forgot the other one spoke in lolcat, so luckily I wrote that down in my notes. A changeling with a firm interest in hiring carpenters for the. All right, so yeah, you see Petruchio, you see a young man. Sungrazer, you see a young darkling man, so Slua-like. And they're just, but they don't sound like Slua unless they have, not echoes, I forget what the term is. Anyway, so they're just like, and they are just talking to Pricely at the desk, and Jimothy, the intern, is watching. He's like, yeah, just, I heard you guys fought a Thurzaz and won, so like, yeah, that's the company I want to go to for my honeymoon plans. Absolutely. And yeah. Oh, hi. Oh, cool. It's good job against the Thurzaz. Also, I've heard other nice things about this company. So we kind of want to go visit some of my husband's, or my intended husband's family out on the Verge. It sounds like they're living in a really like idyllic kind of pastoral planet called Tiber. And you know, it just sounds like, you know, a nice break from the city, you know, just farms and chilling out and camping, and no big monsters that we're aware of, or dinosaurs, or yeah. So yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like this client just wants a regular vacation package, and Pricely is already on it. They're like, yeah, so, you know, there's a transport heading out that this is for 3 months, and you know, there's a scheduled transport. It's just and she's, you know, walking through, do they want it to be on a luxury liner? Do they just want, you know, a regular like coach class passenger transport? Like, she's not really, you know, she has access to the files of pirates and, you know, smuggling and all that, but this isn't that. this isn't an emergency, so she's just going for the regular commercial stuff that when you have, 3 to 6 months to 12 months to plan your vacation and not, I just set off a supernat detector and I have to get out now. I'm gonna post this cryptic fanfic to the Yowie board and hope Carve sees me. So that, yeah, it's like, no, really, Starnet, there are dark webs and pockets and secret channels supposedly in Starnet, but it is watched by the government. The reliable internet that goes between systems is watched by the government. So one of the ways you guys get emergency clients is through fanfiction boards, including but not limited to yaoi. So what is it, AoE? I forget so space AoE. Am I remembering that name right? I don't know. Yes. And the core. Yep. The Entertainers Union is in on it, and all for it. There are Entertainers Union members who specifically write fan fiction to encode clients for you. Yes. Oh yes. That's a shorthand. That's how you find them quicker. And sometimes, a friend on the board will say, I think you like this one, Patricio. That's how you found the girl with the melting face, who was possessed by the cotton candy spirit. That was a long time ago. That was like 2 Patricios ago. But yeah, so Patricio, you get into your office, and Sungrazer, they basically have like an open desk for freelance employees to hang out if they want. It is near a coffee maker. Well, how much did you pay for it? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Well, those are for more when you're not sure when you're gonna get to feed again. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's true. You did get, bled out by a maybe sentient plant. Because hedge, what the fuck. So yeah, you get into your office, Sungrazer. As you're maybe sitting down or standing up next to the desk with the coffee, you hear a noise. Do you look in the drawer? So you open the drawer, and this, like, tendril comes out of it, and kind of wraps around it. And at this point, it kind of, like, another tendril kind of gives it. And, do you remember Choo Choo Bear from Something Positive? It's that, but green. It is a jellycat. The kitty face looks out. And it just sort of spray sand at the jellyfish. Actually, roll to defend. Oh, the cat rolled a 23. So it shoots out like a thinner tendril before you can close the drawer, and your hand goes numb. Like, you can still use it, but your hand just went numb. And it just sort of, you can hear it like growling and seething in the desk drawer. You could get it back in, but you took a hit. Why do I come back to the office? Has anyone named the jelly cat? Because it just sort of showed up and decided it lives here. If not, that's fine. It's just... it's like a sea creature, kind of greenish, brownish. No one's really sure where they came from, or if they're native, or an invasive species, or escaped, but they're just in Eden City. And you guys are pretty close to the water compared to other parts of the city, so it's like, okay, that happened. TNR, they do that, but there's still a lot of them, and no one's really sure where they come. They do seem to be part feline, part jellyfish. Hence the numbing sting attack. So you're doing that, yeah, you do that, and you hear kind of and a weird kind of noise and a plop under the desk. And it just sort of squishy, squishy, squishy across the linoleum floor. Or is it a carpeted floor? How angry are you, Jellycat? Away from you. It's heading towards Petruchio's office. Jellicle. The Jellicle cat. Squishy, squishy. You hear the squishy, 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 squishy noise as it just squishes across the... Is it a linoleum floor or a carpeted floor in this office? You want to fuck around and find out? You make sure to, it's not super whiny when its food bowl, until its full food bowl is all the way empty. Like, it's not one of those, my food bowl is a quarter of the way empty, why do you starve? Like, it's not that bad, but you have learned the hard way not to take its food dish away too quickly, or it feels threatened. They feel threatened. You're not really sure if jellycats have a gender, because they're jellycats. Agender jellycat. You have seen it eat a donut like it's a slime mold, though. That was disturbing. They are both. Yeah, and this one just decided it lives here. That's not an NPC drop chat, that's me. I wanted Choo Choo Bears in my system, and now they're here. But they make a little bit more sense. So instead of being a chemotherapy kitty that lost all of its hair and its bones, it is just a natural? No one's really sure where the jellycats come from. But they seem like a cat-jellyfish hybrid. With a sting attack. Anyway. Yeah, they're not hedge beasts either. Like, that has been thoroughly checked. They're like, we don't know where they come from. Meanwhile, Petruchio, when you get to your private desktop and your private emails, you do get, not from Tilda, but from, her office, because the Prince of the City doesn't really talk to you directly, or anyone, because they're the Prince of the City. So currently, between your newfound fame and also all of the packages that you guys are booking for the upcoming Eden System anniversary event in the following year, business, like normal business, is doing so well that you now have all of the same resources, but without needing to rely on Tilda's and others' investments. Which gives you maybe a little bit more flexibility to not be voluntold what to do. at least for a while, and her office has basically said, so we're reinvesting those, because A, you can't have more than 5 dots in resources for the company. So, we'll be reinvesting, give us a call back if things change, or, if there's an emergency. Because we're still backing you, they're not backing you as fully as they were before. Because they don't need to, because you're doing actual work. Amazing. She's your grandma. So she's Von True Invictus. You're not sure how many generation isn't the same in Requiem as it is in Masquerade. You know that you are of her bloodline. You have no idea how far out, but that's one of the reasons she didn't kill you outright when you were suspected to be implicated in the plot to murder her that time. And you very much impressed her by not getting caught and killed. So once they caught your sire, who was actually the potential murderer, and axed her off the face of the galaxy, puffed, ended her requiem. You were brought in, and they're like, so, you're a clever one, aren't you? Let's give you a job to make sure you're trustworthy and not trying to kill me. Which is, very egalitarian and forward-thinking for Von True and Invictus. But yeah. Okay, understood. This is something we might pick up next game because it is 10, but putting it that way, Great Grandma's Tilda's office is, does not think that's a bad idea, and, if they ever, just don't give them a reason to doubt you. Meanwhile, Invictus Oaths have actual staying power, so they might also require that of you first, but yeah, they can start asking around, and or rather have one of their vampire interns ask around and find you a contact for that. But yeah, so does anyone else have anything low-key or Jellycat related that they want to do before we wrap up tonight? On where? Okay, you just unfold it out of your pocket. That girl in the corner is just like sobbing. It's still rough. You don't just bounce back from that, dude. Clancy's? Oh, I forget what that is. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. In that case, that would be back by the main space docks, probably in Steeltown. Okay. Yeah. Well, send me the deets. But yeah, Klaus, you go to a bar. As far as you can tell, maybe they're changelings. You don't know. You don't have Prime. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Klaus. It's hot in here. Goodness. And so, of course, the AI in your head starts saying, "I wanna take my clothes off," and it's that an obnoxious as fuck song starts playing in your head over and over again. Because this AI can also learn, and it's like, oh, humanoids don't like repeated songs ad nauseum. Oh, fun. But anyway, the changeling, it's a lot like hanging out with Dune's rugby friends. In fact, some of them probably are Dune's rugby friends. There's probably some overlap there, but it's a fun time. It's not cool because it's really overheated in here, but yeah. So yeah. Ah. Yes, so I think this more or less concludes our hunt for the weirder. Whoops. So next plot arc is gonna be a bit different. Because as I have dropped many clues thus far, there's trouble a-brewing elsewhere in the galaxy. So the next leg of our journey will probably start with a whole lot of on-stream, so what resources are you allocating and storing and taking with you? Pack your bags, Carve Tourism. Y'all are going on a trip where you will not have home team advantage. Things are gonna get a little bit more World of Darknessy. And we will see how that goes. As our Carve Tourism tries to single-handedly save or mitigate or something the Limo system before things go all the way to hell. Tradition 0 of any supernatural society is thou shalt not get caught. Well, it is a... We'll get to that next week. So, players, start thinking about what you want to take with you and what you want to ask. Puka, I don't think you will be here with us next week, but you can chat with it. We have our Discord for working out these details too. We'll see. So yes, chat, thank you for watching and hanging out with us for what I hope was 3 distracting hours of weirdness. Kind of more low-key weirdness, but also, wow, I didn't want to run into the combat today. I know I missed some NPCs from last week. I will work those out in the next few episodes. Also... Okay. Okay, I also write them down in my Luddite notebook. So... that one. Anyway, so if you can't tell by now, I'm the Game Master. And yeah, you can follow me here on Twitter or Instagram. I'm also basically the one behind all the Magic Fish Radio accounts on all the social medias, etc., etc. But yes, thank you for hanging out with us. I hope we were fun and distracting and chill in a low-key way. Because I just like it when people just roleplay for a while, and I could be the annoying NPC in the background, but it's just like, but they're talking. And it doesn't... Yeah. I mean, the best is when they're descending into paranoid, like, what the fuck is happening kind of roleplay for a half hour. Like, that's my absolute favorite. But I also just like the chill roleplay of, hi, I have a backstory, actually. I don't just punch things when they make me annoyed. Like, you have the social stats. Why won't they just let you use the social stats? Why does it always have to go to punching? Anyway, that's me. So, well, I look for someone to raid. Petruchio, who are you when you're at home? Okay. Klaus, who are you when you are not an escaped synthetic human? Well, you do have a lot going on, it's just not on the internet. Yeah. Woohoo. And Holiday, who are you when you are not an ex-military changeling with a new watch? Yeah. Minis! Probably minis. Some... Pre-canal. And Sun Grazer, I'm sorry we did not get to utilize you as much. Send me more background stuff so I can torture you like a proper GM. Woo. Yay! Our crack pilot. Cracked? On crack? I don't know. Anyway, so who are you when you're not a crack pilot or ace pilot? I don't know. Woohoo! All right. So, and remember, chat, we are going to start looking for players for our Dark Crystal game next week. We have a few slots open, and there's a whole lot of species, race, and gender options available because, well, it was already canon before the series that trans gelfling are canon. I'm like, all right. If you have questions, I'll tell you after stream. See me after class. So yeah, and watch out for our craft streams this week. Basically, just on my lunch break while I work from home on Tuesday and Thursday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. And we might even play music, because it's not as distracting when I'm not GMing. Although, the classical music station was not nearly as chill as I expected it to be, and that got a little weird. But for now, let's raid the Dice Cult, because we haven't raided them in a while. Because they are playing, they are playing some form of vampire. Probably Vampire the Masquerade. So, yeah, again, so thank you, chat. Take care of yourselves this week. Take care of each other. And we will see you again next week for NWoD in Space. Bye.